Today, we're going to talk about loving at a higher frequency. And this all came to me from Melody, the woman that talked about the Akashic Records. She sent me her newsletter. And so I'm going to read the first part, which is what she wrote in the newsletter. And then we're going to do a little exercise at the end. Okay. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Caitlin. So, loving at a higher frequency. I've been struggling this month with what to share. So much is happening energetically, physically, collectively, that it felt hard to choose just one thread to follow. And sitting with it, I realized the very struggle was the message. What I've settled on sharing is something I'm actively working with and moving through the higher level frequency of love for all. I invite this month's article to gently provoke you, to stir curiosity, discomfort, and deeper contemplation, just as it has for me. Lately, I've been asking a very big question. How do we truly move into a frequency of love for absolutely everyone? I'll be honest, I struggle with this. Extending love to those who abuse animals, children, women, serial killers, extremes of humanity. This is where I feel resistance rise in my body and heart. The old saying, love the person, hate the act, has never really fully landed with me. It feels incomplete. I can reach indifference. I can reach forgiveness. But what I am seeking is a breakthrough to feel the same love for everyone. In this quest, I've spent many hours in conversation with friends, asking for understanding, for a bridge my human heart could actually walk across. Eventually, they offered me an image, a perspective that I could begin to work with. They said, we know you love the earth. You honor her. You sing gratitude to her. We have watched you weep at her beauty. Is this true? Of course, I said yes. And instantly I saw images flood my awareness. The ocean shimmering under the sun, slow-laced mountain peaks, snow-laced mountain peaks, hawks soaring effortlessly in the sky, wild horses running free. But then the images shifted. A tsunami, a tornado, an earthquake, a volcanic eruption. And they said, the earth has taken many, many lives, yet you do not shame her. You do not blame her. You still love her. You feel sadness for those harmed, but you do not turn against her. Then they asked, why can you not place that same love towards all of humanity? See humans as one organism, just as the earth is one living being, and just as the cells of a human body form a whole. That perspective landed somewhere deep. I understand it. I'm not fully feeling it yet, but it has cracked something open in my consciousness. It has changed the way I sit with judgment, the way I observe harm, the way I hold love, not as approval, not as permission, but as a wider field that includes everything. This is where I am right now. Not finished, not perfected, but consciously practicing how to hold love for all without abandoning discernment, boundaries, and truth. If this stirs something in you, resistance, curiosity, reflection, know that you are not alone. Perhaps this is an invitation we are all receiving together, finding the higher frequency of love in you and for you as we walk through winter together. Love and wisdom, Melody. So that stirred up a lot in me too, just listening to that. I was just thinking as I was reading that, I'll never forget the first time I saw the Grand Canyon or Bryce Canyon. When I saw Bryce Canyon for the first time, I was just like, wow, God, you do good work. and was just amazed. The first time I saw the ocean, I grew up in the Midwest, and so I'd
Yeah.
never seen the ocean until I was 22 years old. And that was quite an eye opening for me. And a lot of times when I used to teach meditation at the senior center, and that would be how I would start. Imagine that you're at the ocean and you see the sun reflecting on the water like diamonds floating along on the water. So that was interesting. So, all right. So we're going to do a little practice. Practicing love without bypassing, it's called. Before you move on with your day, I invite you to pause for a few quiet moments. I want you to get comfortable, and I want you to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your lower belly. Feel your breath moving slowly in and out. Take a few slow breaths in and out and feel them. Let your body arrive fully in this moment. Now bring to mind something or someone you love easily. Feel how that love lives in your body. Notice its warmth, its openness, its steadiness. And next, imagine the earth beneath you. Feel her vastness, her beauty, her power, her creation, and her destruction, held together without judgment. Without forcing anything, gently ask yourself, where does my love naturally flow? Where does it tighten or stop? Can I allow love to exist without agreement, approval, or understanding? You do not need to fix anything. You do not need to reach the highest frequency today, but simply notice. If it feels right, silently offer this intention. I am willing to expand my capacity for love at a pace my nervous system can trust. Take one final breath. Feel your feet. Feel the earth holding you. This is not a destination, it's a practice. And every moment of awareness is already an act of love. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you were feeling. Um, can you allow love to exist without agreement, approval, or understanding? Personally, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But I think that's a good thing to practice that. I think I'm going to practice that every day for a while. I am willing to expand my capacity for love at a pace my nervous system can trust. How does anybody else feel about that?
Well, to me, that last comment about the pace that you can trust, that I think that is so we don't overwhelm ourselves and say, oh, I got to take care of this, this, and this, when we can only take care of one thing. Uh, I feel we're supposed to love unconditionally. Uh, and love your enemies is a good place to start. You know, it's the challenge. It's the persistence. No matter what they say back to me, I'm still gonna love them. Uh, and we get caught up in a lot of, oh, I can't love them because I'm just thinking of a friend whose wife passed away and he already has a girlfriend 3 months later. So we're all having issues with that. But yet I can't love him any less for trying my nerve kind of thing. Uh, and that's where we have to, I feel that I have to learn to love unconditionally and not put stipulations on it. I'll love you if, I'll love you if, I'll love you if. That's not love, that's bargaining, that's monopoly. But if I can truly, truly love somebody that has hurt me, that to me is a pure love, more fulfilling. Love should not be easy. Love is hard. And when it's hard, it's better, if that makes sense. Or at least that's my case. And the harder I have to love somebody, the more I love them. And the more I love myself for being able to love them. That's just the way I kind of look at it.
Well, another example is my children, my daughter. Sometimes she gets really angry with me and yells at me, but I still love her. You know, the I get over it. I forgive her.
That's unconditional love.
Right.
Mm.
But then there's other people in this world. Like I'd have a hard time loving Vladimir Putin,
God.
you know. That would be hard. And everyone knows I'm not fond of our leader either. But
Ditto.
I'm not sure they love themselves.
Yeah, you got
I
that right.
and I feel sorry for them.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I feel sorry for them.
Can you imagine what their life review is going to be like? Holy
Mm.
smoke, I wouldn't want to. I'm going to have enough to deal with, let alone deal with one of their life reviews.
Well, I
But
think about,
then again, I don't I believe that everybody goes to heaven. I don't believe that there is a place called hell. I think we all go to the same place. And I think once you're there, that everybody is good, that they are forgiven. But it's still hard to think that some people, like serial killers, the things that she mentioned before, are people who abuse children or animals or their spouses. That's hard. That's a hard thing to forgive. But then you got to remember that that person is hurting, and so they're taking it out on something else, an animal or a person. You don't just decide to be a serial killer. It's because something inside of you is messed up. So I do feel sorry for those people, but it's still hard to forgive their act, though. But maybe that's the deal.
Well,
You can't
that
forgive the
is
act,
where the
but you can
love is
forgive the
really hard.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've watched quite a few medium readings where people come through and they talk about traumas and that there is that sense of loving unconditionally, if you would, and just instead of excusing it as a choice for our human experience as a lesson, what they try to do is, like in one particular case, they tried to get the two family members who knew of a rape that had happened that didn't deal with it. And this woman was years later still damaged and making poor choices for herself. And this medium came through and got them together to start to talk it out. And it was like very healing. And this was coming from one of the perpetrators that had caused some of the issue. And so it was just an interesting dynamic that when you take away the expectation of our human cooperation, that you can deal with sensitive things or dramatic things and see beyond. And maybe that's part of the unconditional love piece of it.
Mhm.
Because when you talk about the near-death experiences, there's such a purity to the love that comes through that it's like
Yeah.
there was no damage, you know?
Mm.
And Charlie apologized. He's dealing with bronchitis, and he said that it's Bobby's birthday today and said to say
Oh,
Happy New Year, and he loved this discussion. He wished he could stay.
okay. Hope he feels better.
Yeah. And with that aside, I also wanted to say that we do have people on the prayer list. Let me just check in on that document. Paula took a fall, and so she's healing.
Ooh.
She's dealing with um, a relative that's on their way out of this lifetime.
So are they
Um,
in Florida right now?
I'm not sure. I didn't get a response, or did I even reach out? I've been meaning to reach out to find out how she's doing. So I don't know. I'm assuming she's back in Florida. But then I think last week we all talked about Cindy, you asked for prayers for your daughter's best friend. Um,
Yes, and prayers, amen. They worked.
oh,
The
good.
baby's fine.
Oh, good.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah, that was a whole hoo-ha of a story.
Wow.
But long story made short, I had her girlfriend report this nurse because she said things to her that were absolutely unacceptable that she had no place telling her because she's not a doctor and she was very wrong. And poor Nicole's friend was like totally stressed out of her mind for like 6 hours because of this
Wow.
nurse. Yeah,
Wow.
the baby's okay and all that stuff doesn't matter anymore, you know?
Awesome.
So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, she was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Laura, you had someone for the list? Your daughter, maybe?
My daughter, yeah, she is a little bit better on the mend. So
Okay.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's just still got some distance to go though.
Yeah. But that takes us back to the conversation about love in a higher frequency, and that is when we put people on the prayer list, it's the power of many who can bring forth more healing, maybe.
Mm.
And maybe that love toward a third party that you may or may not know is another way to go at healing some of the judgments or assignments of expectation of us humans. Because I know I struggle too. It's like, okay, how can I? It's almost like, if you think about when you have a family and you try to love everybody and everybody has their own quirks that sort of annoy and push buttons, and you still come together, you know, in most cases with a sense of lovingness around that, but also accepting not to be in the vicinity of people who trigger you that way, you know? We get to
Mhm.
choose that. So in a sense, I can love somebody as long as they're not in my space. But is that love? I don't know.
Yeah, and and even the thing about loving the earth, and I do love the earth, and in the summer when it's warm out and there's not snow on the ground like there is right now, a lot of times I'll go outside and just put my bare feet in the grass
Yeah.
just to feel the earth. Um, so, but then you think about the tsunamis and the earthquakes and all the people who don't make it through those things.
Yeah.
And it's a double-edged sword almost.
Yeah, but we forgive her, don't we?
Yeah, yeah, we
It's
do.
like we had the most rain this holiday in years, and I wasn't loving it so much until
Yeah,
until the sun came back out. And it's like, oh my gosh, I do have to go out and put my feet on the ground. I just have to be in the sun, you know?
in
Mhm.
nature and love nature.
Yeah, Yeah,
you
it's the
know.
vibration from whence we came. So that makes sense that it's the reset button. And that's what Mother Nature is when she gives us fury, wiping
Mhm.
things out. The fire removes the trees, which then starts a whole planting of pine cone seeds and rejuvenation of an entire forest on its own. And it's like we didn't have any part in that. And it's a point of reset.
Takes care of itself.
Hmm.
Right.
And yet we don't learn from it
That's right. That's right.
because we don't do that. We destroy things and we don't correct it,
Yeah,
on Mother Earth. So there's a lot of accountability on our part for the lack of love and respect for the earth,
definitely.
you know.
Yeah,
Definitely. That's the whole
absolutely.
point of the Industrial Revolution is like that's humans trying to play God, and it's like it's just not working. And we need our resets. And I think that people are starting to wake up to a lot of that. I was reading a
Hmm.
thread just this morning about mitochondria of all things, the energy, the power center of cellular energy of all of life. Plants have it, animals have it, humans have it. And
Right.
it literally it runs on pure energy and it gets reset by different energetic settings. So there's mild stress or there's traumatic stress or there's just life powering itself stress. And it gives that energy cell the way forward without us mucking around with it. We can muck around with it by eating the wrong things or drinking or whatever, putting poisons in our bodies, but they have this miraculous way of correcting themselves. And if we can find ways to fuel it in the right way, we become much healthier. And this whole healthcare system, which I call a sick care system, could be upended because we don't need all of that garbage that keeps us addicted to all these medications and such. And it's like, let nature cure itself by doing prevention and preparation and
Mhm.
personalization and all these things that Caitlin is so good at. It's like it's coming naturally to her permaculture brain, and we don't need to put animals in our bodies because we can fuel ourselves with plant-based foods, and that's so true. Or whatever other iteration of that. But and these seedlings that I just got sprouted. Did yours sprout, Caitlin, by the way?
Not yet. Not
Oh,
yet.
wow. I wonder
Yeah.
why, what the difference was.
Yeah.
But they're tiny little miracles. And I'm just kind of I don't grow things very well. So it's like I was really surprised and very happy. And they make me happy every day. It's like, okay, they're pointing toward the sun today. I'm going to turn you around. It's like I'm raising children again. So, there's some unconditional love. It's like it's dirt, and it's like that dirt went around the cycle a few times.
And
But
talk about miracles. Friday, when we celebrated Christmas on Friday, and my oldest granddaughter's pregnant, and she's only got about 3 or 4 more weeks to go, and she loves to share her pregnancy with all of us. She lifts her shirt, and we watch that baby moving
wow,
in her stomach. You can see
wow,
it, and she wants everybody to feel it like she feels it because she just loves that feeling.
yeah,
It, what a miracle that is.
yeah,
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 it is.
So I'm thinking for the new year, it would be kind of maybe an underlying message for the Madonna ministry is, in our talks going forward, is really focusing like a love evolution where
ah,
we really work on having better relationships with ourselves,
uh-huh,
because I'm of the belief that the root cause of why society is the way that it is because of our lack of relationship with ourselves, which then we bounce off other people who are doing the same thing at varying degrees, levels, and um, all of these horrible things that are going on are really just a call for love and unmet needs, when we were children. And if we could just really focus on, hurt people and things, and have a little more gentleness with ourselves, first. I think then as we nurture that within ourselves, watching ourselves talk, watching our relationship with like you said, Nikki, with food, and is recognizing our bodies are temples. Are we honoring our temple, or are we dishonoring the temple? And I think that people would be surprised at how much easier it is to show up patiently and compassionately and empathetically to the tough people out there. And maybe if we made a conscious decision to use prayer to add to those difficult circumstances and send love to it, that collectively
Hmm.
we could possibly open up a portal for self-awareness for those difficult people in situations to maybe take a look at themselves, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting because, and I don't really want to spend a lot of time on politics, but the Dalai Lama, not the Dalai Lama, Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra was interviewed on a podcast and he was talking about the chaos in the world right now is a cry out for love. And can you find it in your heart to love that being who creates the chaos to divert attention in certain ways? And is there a
Oh,
way to get beyond that and to accept the fact that that's a damaged being too, and they deserve love as well? And I'm so glad to see that as a horse behind you, Caitlin. I've been looking at that thing as you had it, part of it covered up, and then the head was gone. And it's like,
Oh,
is that a cow? Is that, what is that? You know, the tail looked like it could be a fuzzy ear, and it was like, what is that?
I've noticed that in the past. I've
There you
noticed that.
go.
That's beautiful, beautiful painting.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's majestic. Client gifted that to me. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe that we focus on I don't know. I mean, how do other people feel about that? Some people have had a long-standing relationship when we develop habits,
Mm,
myself included, of how I show up towards myself that could definitely use reviewing and tweaking and things of that nature. So I think that love in action is really hugely underrated,
mhm.
and it's so easy for us to love the easy. And maybe if we just really focus on sending that energy to the difficult situations and people,
Yeah.
and then we can talk about if we notice changes in in our immediate lives about people that uh, are challenging, like some of my coworkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Uh, and we more or less take on campaigns and throw some love at it,
Hmm.
without getting into the political mud of it. But, just off the top of my head, maybe it's Nigeria that's now being bombed. They need spiritual help. I don't care who is being bombed, but just the people of Nigeria. You can say you're dropping a bomb on ISIS, but you've got 500 Christians standing around that one ISIS guy. So they all need prayer, and hopefully we can change one soul at a time, one heart at a time. And just, yeah, all we can do is try and soften hearts.
Mm. It's an inside job, though, for sure. It's like I said. It's I know as a former horrible codependent that it was so much easier for me to give love to others and at the expense of myself. And so, if we could balance the two, where we're
Yeah.
concentrating on that and also just paying better attention to our relationship with ourselves, because our behaviors are going to give you insight as to where you're at, kind of a thing. And I think that that's how we're going to transmute the Madonna ministry, quite honestly, is really from the inside out. Instead of looking for the Madonna ministry for us to take something from it, we need to now start really investing in it. And the
Mhm.
only way to do that is to invest in ourselves first, I think.
Yeah. I was putting together seed packets I'm going to send to everybody in the ministry that we've been, at least the dues paying and active ones, the ones that show up. I've got like 23 envelopes stuffed right now. And what I wanted to do is maybe inspire each of us, not necessarily you have to grow these seeds, but maybe send these seeds, regift these seeds to somebody who will, and then turn that into the ministry's regrowth or the seedling that becomes what our next step might be. Because we've talked a lot about, what do we want to do? And with Paula taking a sabbatical from the presidency, it's like when we think about who can replace her, we reached out, and I think we've all had this conversation that Terry would be a good person to mentor the next person. And maybe that's Caitlin, because Caitlin has a sense of what the ministry means to her, and she's come back around and kind of sees it with fresh eyes from the birth with Shirley and the awakening process, and bringing maybe that to the table as another means to revive the life force within the ministry. And so Terry's considering it. She's still thinking it through, and we're having some conversations, but she might be willing to come back and do a part-time either mentorship or, an interim kind of thing to help anchor us and to take it to a new place. And so we're also talking with Katrina. I'm having her do a reading too, because I was looking through her website for what some of her offerings are. And so I said, okay, let's do this reading. And I did one with Melody too, the person who wrote that newsletter that Laura was reading from. And it's like we did a reading about the ministry. And it's like, okay, you're in my Akashic record, but what does that mean for what I can maybe do to give back to the ministry in such a way that it becomes more than it is? And, she was talking about taking a galactic view and really thinking energetically about what this stems from, what this love, this unconditional energy that's behind our life force, and what that might mean. And it might mean something different coming from any one of you. Your Akashic record's got to have a whole different spin on what this could be. But I'm having to come full circle with what I started to say is that I'm having Katrina entertain 5 questions about the ministry and what that might look like. So I'm curious what she comes back with. Maybe we could all ask those questions of ourselves.
Yeah, maybe you should send those out to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. As I get answers, I'm trying to spread the word too and share the seeds. And we had talked about the inspired cards, the message cards with words on the front and back. And so we had invested in the seed cards, and I showed these to Caitlin when we were in the 29 Palms property. And all the different varieties of seed cards came through, and those were what we planted in the dirt. That's what's now growing. And it's interesting to see that the commercialization of this thing called life is very, it's got human written all over it, meaning some of the cards had 1 seed in it, and the others had 10 seeds in it. And so some cards will grow and others won't. And some of the cards were very beautiful the way that they were displayed, but expensive because they had paint on them and colors. Like one was a hummingbird and one was a bumblebee and one was an earth hugging itself. And it's like, okay, those were quite expensive and they don't really bear a lot of fruit, if you would, meaning these sprouts are very tiny and they're very sparse. And I'm thinking, okay, what does that look like? And that's why I'm sending packets to each of you so you can experience each of them and decide what to do with them and maybe come up with some ideas around that. What does it mean to reseed the ministry, and what does this love of life and life force mean to us? And what can we do in the forms of words, growing things, cleansing our bodies, whatever it takes to kind of bring back the sense of purpose, and what our mission really is. And are we a ministry for ministers, or are we a ministry for all, And what does that look like, or might that shift as we take on a project or two, as we get our website designer, as we get, all these things that we've been asking for.
And also, whatever happened to the awakening process?
Caitlin's reworking
I-
that.
Yeah,
did-
so
course, and I did that course, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I had
I'm
all the CDs, but I gave them all to Sally, and I never got them back.
Yeah. We can do them without CDs. We've got the MP3s. So Caitlin's looking into that. She's going to
Good.
update it a little bit and bring that back to us.
How's Sally? Is she still around? Sally?
Yeah. Yeah. The last
Okay.
couple of times she showed up, she said she wanted to be back in the swing a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I know it was a busy time of year with her Santa Clausing.
Yeah.
around the holidays, she's quite, and in the summer, she's quite busy. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll get her back in the fall. I'm going to call her anyway. And then what about the other Sally? Sally B.
Yeah, she's been less active, but she still touches base once in a while. And I don't remember the last time she showed up to service, but she was apologetic about leaving. Um, but yeah, she's got a lot of life stuff too. She co-locates. She's like in Michigan for half the year and Texas for half the year, so
Uh,
that's part of her distraction. And she's also
Oh,
got another Sunday service.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and that's the same with Helena. I think she's still current with her dues and stuff, but she's very active in a local church now.
Yeah.
mhm.
She's a deaconess and everything, so she's quite involved in that on Sundays.
Nice.
But she got very disillusioned with us when that whole thing with the last president.
Yeah. Yeah, that was unfortunate. And,
Yeah,
it corrected a few things by that transition, but it didn't solve everything. And so we just need to stay very cognizant that we're in
yeah,
this for, you know, cooperation and collaboration and coexistence. And that's going to have its ups and downs, I guess, once in a while.
Well, revisiting a negative time in our ministries is not going to do any of us any good,
That's true.
mentally, emotionally, physically, and or spiritually.
Yeah.
So we must move on forward as we do each day and put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
So had you tried a later time to
Yeah.
meet on Sunday, and that didn't work out well too? Because I know the
Yeah.
timing with other spiritual services usually 9, 10, 11 o'clock.
Mm.
Yeah. We did an afternoon/evening thing. Afternoon, evening didn't really change attendance at all. Um, it
especially for the East Coast,
Right.
because if you
Yeah,
guys
people are doing stuff in the
if you made it
afternoon.
if you made it 11 o'clock for you guys, that would be in the middle of the afternoon.
For
right.
us.
And
Yeah.
then on a Sunday, that's a lot of people are Sunday's family time. But
Yeah, yeah. No, what I meant was a lot of people have spiritual services that
right,
religious services that are like 9, 10, 11
right.
o'clock or
Those times,
and
yeah.
yeah, so
And even this for us is noon.
you're
Right.
right.
So that noon's okay with me. Some people it isn't, but
Yeah.
So
Do
I was
we
wondering
have
like
to
you're
meet
never
on
going to please
Sunday?
everybody.
a
Never going
4
to
or
get
5 o'clock, a 4 or
Yeah, that
5
was
o'clock.
Well, I
no.
think what we did was 3 our time, 6 your time, East Coast. So that would be 4 your time, Caitlin.
Hmm.
And that wasn't ideal either. It didn't really change our habits.
yeah.
It certainly didn't increase attendance. That was what, 2 years ago when we tried that? I mean, we could entertain a different day, but then we have work schedules for some of us and not others. And,
Yeah, I think Saturday would be worse
yeah,
because we've had some things on Saturdays, and I don't think anybody was interested in that. Charlie was doing books reviews or something,
yeah.
and that didn't
Yeah, I
go
think we used to
pan
do a
out either.
Thursday night thing too, and it had its time. It works for a while and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
When we were meeting on what, Fridays for the peer-to-peer counseling,
Hmm.
and then we have the Friday outreach meetings. um, which will resume second Friday of January. We can keep testing. And Mariana said that she wants to be more active, but Sundays don't work for her. So she offered to do something on a Friday. And I said, well, we have our outreach meetings, but you could maybe do an alternate Friday thing and see if that's a possibility that, I don't know what she would want to bring to the table, but she would lead a service or bring an activity or something. Could be interesting.
Mm.
And we've talked about having outside speakers and, is that attractive enough for them to come to us? Are we active enough to be partaking of that very often? Yeah. And, I know I'm going to get busier once we um, break into 2026. I've got a bigger conference schedule, so I may end up having to miss an occasional Sunday due to travel because hosting from afar is not ideal, as we experienced when Caitlin was running the last, 2 weeks ago. And Charlie was texting me in the cab on the way to the conference center. I can't get in. Can you let me in? And so it's like that didn't work out so well. But I'm open to anything. And I think, like you talk about what Laura, you were bringing up with Melody's newsletter, is that we need to entertain how to make the uncomfortable more loving. And in doing so, I believe, and this is where I'm kind of going with all the speaking with spirit and guides, is finding the flow of just allowing for life to be at ease and in flow. And there are ways for us not to have to do things. Like Kevin, you were talking about earlier, working so hard, being hard to work. Yet hardness of work is what gives you the extra joy in loving. But does it have to be hard? And I'm questioning myself every day. Does it have to be hard? Do we have to work so hard? And can we allow for things? I have this one medium that works on expecting magic and thinking of treasure hunts and going out and expecting the unexpected in the form of joy and magical things. And she's able to manifest certain things just by not having any attachment to her experience. It's like, I'm going to let life happen to me today. And what are we going to find on the way to the grocery store, or on the way to the park for my bike ride or whatever? And it's working for her. And it causes in me to witness her to think more about joy and happiness and being in play, in my day-to-day life, because I don't play. I work. I like my work, and I get a lot of enjoyment from working, but I don't play very often. So it's like, maybe that's another way to open up a door or a pathway, is to allow for play to enter in. And it
Yes,
doesn't have to look like everybody
definitely,
else's play, right?
definitely.
Play
Sometimes
is
we have
whatever you would consider play,
That's true,
you know, and maybe it's when you like your job, it's never an occupation, it's a vocation.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, and maybe the vocation end of what you do is your
Mhm.
playtime. Am I making sense? I don't think I am, but that's what I'm intending.
Yeah, I kind of like that, vocation over occupation. That
Yeah, like
means a lot of different things.
when I worked at the funeral home, it was never an occupation, it was a vocation.
Yeah.
and my job for 49 years was having fun with other people,
Yep.
recreation, and working at the senior center teaching classes.
Yep.
My whole
Mm-hmm.
career was, for me, was fun.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved my job. I miss it.
Yeah.
Even though I do hospice work, and a lot of people think that my work is like very depressing and oh my God, how can you do this for so many years? Blah blah blah. I do have fun, um, believe it or not, and I bring humor, and I do bring laughter, and it can happen in the most of difficult times. For instance, as I said to Laura and her husband, how about you guys get in front of the tree? I'd like to take a nice picture of you. And so they did. And then as they were standing in front of the tree, I says to Laura, I says, hey, Laura, how about you give that pain in the butt husband of yours a kiss? Because he's always at her about using her walker. And she just gets so mad at him about it. And just all of a sudden, the room just, blared out with laughter. And it was funny. And so, I mean, yeah, she's got brain cancer and she's dying. But you know what? You still can bring love and laughter in the most difficult of times. And I'm here to tell you that
Yeah,
because it happens. Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah,
point.
most of my friends don't understand how I can do the hospice work. They're like, isn't it sad? I'm like, no, it really isn't, because I know I'm bringing some comfort
All right.
Mhm.
And I
to
think the other thing is
the
we're very
family
faith
too.
based. We're
You know,
faith based, and that
I
means a
can't,
lot.
well, and I can't tell you how many times that the family has said to me, you're an angel,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because I care about the people that I'm doing the hospice work.
Mhm. And I
You
think it
know,
shows in how we are. Yeah.
try try to bring them some joy and some comfort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I always hold their hand, especially the ones that are in nursing homes, because nobody ever touches them.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
so if I just go in there and grab their hand and just sit there and hold their hand, they light up,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes me feel really good.
And you can see their whole bodies just relax
Yeah,
at the sense of touch. It's quite amazing.
it's not sad. And when they
Mm-mm.
do pass over, I'm happy for them that they're finally out of that body
That ill body. Yeah.
they were suffering in, and so now they're free. Their souls are free. Makes me feel good. But anyway, before we close, I have a New Year's prayer. So, may this new year unfold with light and promise. May your body feel strong, may your mind feel clear, and may your heart remain open to all possibility. May you awaken with purpose in your breath and rest at night knowing you did enough. May opportunity meet your effort, patience walk beside ambition, and challenges sharpen you without ever hardening you. May laughter arrive often and stay a while. May love, old and new, grow deeper and truer. May you give freely without losing yourself and receive fully without hesitation. And when the road bends without warning, may you trust the strength that you've earned and the wisdom that you carry to guide you. May this be a year of steady growth, honest joy, and gentle courage, a future that feels not only hopeful, but open and welcoming too. This is my New Year's blessing.
Amen.
Thank you. That was lovely.
yeah.
That was very nice, Laura.
That was pretty. I like
I'm
that. Bless you.
gonna, I'm gonna hang up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Feel
just trying
better.
to get rid of this cold. Okay, we'll see you next week.
Go,
Bye bye.
go take care of yourself. So, what's next week? Is anything scheduled?
I don't have anything. I think the second week is going to be Katrina coming back to do some more of her magic creation stuff.
Cool.
But next week is open as far as I remember. Let me just make sure that's true. And do any of you have ideas for that? What would you like to see? What would make you look forward to showing up on January 4th?
Why don't we make the topic one that's shareable? Like maybe not even have somebody take leadership role per se, but love in action,
Okay.
Mhm.
and
An
how
open
what
discussion.
what that looked like from today's service to next service, how we are paying attention to it, to the lack of it, or
Yeah.
the awareness of doing it more and things of that nature.
Okay. I like that. Love in action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and work that into goals for next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What working into intentions as into what you strive for in the coming year.
Hmm. Okay.
And by next Sunday, I might have a new fur baby.
Okay.
Oh, well, good
A
for
clone.
you.
I
And
can't
the
believe it.
fact that
Caitlin
you
wasn't
know,
here when I was talking about that, but you know, I lost my
Mhm.
baby. Well, someone sent me a website that pet adoption place, strictly cats, and she sent me a picture of one of the cats that she found on that website, and it looks exactly like my cat, with a patch of tan right on the chest, one white whisker, and she's exactly the same age as my cat was, 5 years old.
Wow.
I'm going to go see her tomorrow and see if I feel a connection.
Very cool.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
I
I'm just
just
so
adopt,
lonely without her. I'm so lonely without her.
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's so many that are in need. I just adopted a Siberian Husky, and she's a love. Her name is Luna, and she's going to be 3 in February. And because this past year I lost 2 dogs, and that left 2, but I take one to work. And when I go to work, the cattle dog was starting to show signs of anxiety for me leaving with the other dog, and so I got him a playmate, and he's doing really well. And then the cat Nikki that you saw that during that
Yeah.
got it all. That's a foster cat that I'm nurturing back to health. It was abandoned out here. It's real skinny, and so I have to feed it very small amounts,
Yeah.
frequently and stuff. But it has hyperthyroidism, so I have to start medication on that for this cat. But anyway, so there's just so many in need.
Yeah.
We've got to
And
make room for them.
she was an emotional support animal for a woman with mental health issues.
Oh, wow.
And she lived in one room for her 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but the woman that took her in said that once you connect with her, she's very loving and very cuddly. So we'll see.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
have any of you seen that guy on Facebook who plays the guitar to wild animals?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And when we bring pets into the house, maybe we should incorporate a little music to
Mhm.
make them feel better. But
Yeah.
and he has wild creatures coming up to him.
Yep.
Well, and whenever I played the bowls for you guys, my cat was right there
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in the
Yeah.
other room. Whatever room I was in, she was right there. But she sat right there and listened to those bowls every time I played them.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It's amazing when you think of that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, vibration is energy,
Yeah.
it's a
absolutely.
waveform of energy and frequency
I,
and
absolutely.
And animals pick up on us immediately, kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
When I came home from rehab after my back surgery, baby would come in every morning and lay on my chest.
Yeah.
And a lot of people told me she's healing you. The vibration of her purring on your chest is
Yeah.
healing you.
Yeah, she's purring on your vagus nerve,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Aren't we clever?
Uh-huh.
I just bought some tuning forks,
Oh,
tuning
cool.
that
Yeah.
helps open up your vagus nerve and reset your vagus nerve.
Nice.
I'm interested in hearing about that and
Hmm.
reading. I bought a book on it too. It's
Good.
reset the vagus nerve.
Maybe you can do a session for us when you
Yeah,
come up to speed. Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty
YouTube
interesting.
must have videos of
I'm
that.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, people, I
All
have to go
right.
eat because I'm starving.
Have a wonderful week.
Mm.
Yes.
Love to
Thank
all
you.
of you.
Bye-bye, folks.